Hello and welcome to another episode of Brewery Towns, the podcast that talks about brewing beer throughout the country. My name is Matt, and I am joined again by Matt.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back on, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Is this my third time?
This is your third time. We've done Wheeling, West Virginia, and Astoria, Oregon.
Two great episodes,
Yep.
in my humble opinion. And two fantastic towns, really.
Yeah, and I will mention them throughout this episode, too. I tied it in.
Look at you connecting the dots.
Yeah, I think we have a really good episode today, but first, some housekeeping. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We share the breweries that we've been to and the ones that we're going to in 2021. On Facebook, that's where we share all of our podcast episodes. You can find the episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, YouTube, anywhere you listen to your stuff. If you really like the podcast and the project, go over to patreon.com/brewerytowns. We have a $5 a month membership, and you will get a free print of a brewery around the country at the end of each month. Or you can go to Anchor, and they have $1, $5, and $10 memberships per month as well. On Sunday, we started our blog. We take a brewery around the country, and we write a history of exactly 100 words. So we will do that every Sunday, and you can find that on our website, brewerytowns.com. And also, we will post that to our Facebook page as well. Did I hit everything?
Sounds about right. I like the 100-word thing. It's like tweets, brewery tweets.
Yeah, and there's so many unique...
that's characters. Never mind. Shit. Well, you know.
We know what you meant.
It happens.
There are so many unique breweries around the country, and that's just another outlet for us to share their stories. All right, you ready to talk about our episode?
Yeah, where are we going today?
For episode 23, we are headed to Pocatello, Idaho.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Pocatello?
Pocatello, Idaho. The sources for the episode we use were Brewery Collectibles Club of America and Idaho State Journal.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I forget about Idaho sometimes.
It's okay. Well, lots of good information here. You're going to be excited to visit soon.
Yeah, it'll be on my post-COVID list.
So Pocatello is the county seat of Bannock County. It is located in southeastern Idaho. It is 2 hours to Ogden, Utah, which we did an episode earlier this season on, and 3.5 hours to Boise, which is a place we always wanted to go.
Yes. I have a friend that lives in Boise, and she says it's incredible.
I would love to just take a road trip from Pocatello to Boise, like up to like Glacier National Park.
Oh, now you're talking.
What do you think?
Yeah, you know me. I'm not like the biggest outdoor gal, but I think I could make an exception.
Okay.
For Pocatello, I'd do anything, honey.
Now, Pocatello is settled in the Portneuf Valley. Remember that name. Its current population is 55,000, so fairly small, but it is the fifth largest city in the state of Idaho. Now, you are pretty smart. You're good at geography. Can you name the 4 highest populated cities in the state?
Oh, man. I was a GOB champ in 8th grade.
I remember.
So I'm really, like, the salt's really on me now. Well, Boise has to be number 1, right?
Boise is number 1. Mm-hmm. If you get any of the other 3, I will be impressed.
Is Yakima in Idaho?
I'm not. I think Yakima's in Washington, isn't it?
Oh, that's Washington.
Or Oregon, like because of the Yakima hops they use in beer.
That's kind of what I was going for. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna.
Let me just I'll give it to you.
Nothing. You just give it to me.
You're okay.
The expert. You tell me.
Number 1 is Boise. Number 2 is a town called Meridian, which is a suburb of Boise. Number 3 is a place called Nampa, not Tampa, Nampa.
Not Napa, not Tampa.
Nampa, and that is also a suburb of Boise.
Okay.
And the biggest city that is not around Boise is Idaho Falls.
Okay, I feel like that tracks. So it's like Boise Junior, Boise the Third.
Idaho Falls, Pocatello.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, Pocatello's nickname is the Smile Capital of America. And this is because a smile ordinance passed in 1948 during a very cold and severe winter. The mayor made it just to kind of make everyone a little bit more cheerful. Do you remember what the nickname was for Wheeling, West Virginia?
It was like Bridgeville. No?
It was actually the friendliest city.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
I was
now
close.
we've done the friendliest city and we've done Smile Capital of America together.
Okay. Well, okay, so we're like sowing positive seeds of positivity.
As best we can. Now, Pocatello is hometown to Taysom Hill of the New Orleans Saints. He was born and raised there. He did not attend the local Idaho State University. He didn't want to be a Bengal, but he went to BYU. But still a hometown boy.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know who that is, but
You don't know who Taysom Hill is?
No. I
No,
don't know who
okay.
that is.
You don't watch the Red Zone?
No, I'm gay.
Okay.
I don't watch that.
Pocatello was founded in 1889. It it was the area around it was Shoshone and Bannock tribe land, and Pocatello is actually named after Chief Pocatello, which was a Shoshone leader.
Okay.
European trappers flocked to the region. It became a supply point for the Oregon Trail, which ended. One of the ending points was in what city?
Astoria, Oregon.
Astoria, Oregon. That's right.
Yep. Look at me, 1 for 2.
Yep.
50%.
Yeah, 50%. So because of that, Pocatello became a transportation hub, and it grew into the city that we know of it today. Are you ready to talk about some beer?
I am. Can I have one aside?
Of course.
Do you know who else was a Shoshone tribes member?
John Smith?
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea.
Yeah, Sacagawea. I just watched a Lewis and Clark thing yesterday.
Interesting.
Sacagawea was Shoshone.
Interesting. Now
So it makes sense. Oregon Trail.
Out that way.
I'm putting the geographical pieces together.
See, these little bits of information, it's like knowing Latin. If you know Latin, so many more words make sense to you.
It is true. It is true. I can't say my Latin's that great, but yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay, so Pocatello was home to one brewery pre-Prohibition and one brewery post-Prohibition, and then we're going to talk about the 4 modern breweries that call the town home. So brewing in Pocatello got started with the American Brewing Company in 1902. It was located right next to the rail line. And at that time, they laid claim to the title as the state's largest brewery. They were making Carnation Bud beer, and they used old Chief Pocatello's image for their advertising. In 1904, they changed their name to Franklin and Hayes Brewing Company, and the new owners were Nate Franklin and Robert Hayes, and they also distributed Pabst and Schlitz beer of both of Milwaukee in the Idaho area.
2 of my favorites. Yeah.
Do you drink the Schlitz that they make now?
I actually know. I haven't had the Schlitz they make now. I had like Schlitz like stealing it out of my like dad's garage fridge at like 17 with like peanuts. I feel like that's the only way to drink it.
I had one in Houston a couple years ago when I saw it, because it was after I watched a podcast episode about Schlitz on this platform called Spectacular Failures. And they talk about Schlitz beer and how it was really big in Milwaukee, and then they made a couple mistakes, and now really no one knows about it. So I would suggest checking that out.
I wonder if Schlitz will have the same like PBR, like hipster comeback.
I think that's what they're trying,
like,
yeah.
Resurgence.
I think that's what they're trying.
Get on it, Schlitz. Come on now.
Let's see. So Franklin and Hayes Brewing Company, they were issued warrants for violating state laws, and they closed their facility in 1913. The next year, they sold the building, and it became the Pocatello Cold Storage Company. Now, they didn't really miss on that much business because Prohibition came to Idaho pretty early in 1916, and it stayed around until 1935, which is 2 years after the national repeal. Any questions so far?
No, I'm following. I just feel like all these places, the creativity is so lacking. Like, compared to now, where it's like the cans are art and like the names are so cool. Like, I feel like all the ones we've done, it's like the American Brewing Company, and then they just name them after themselves, which I suppose legacy, I get it, but
maybe this next story will tickle you.
Okay. Ooh.
So in 1935, when Prohibition ended in Idaho, the East Idaho Brewing Company was founded. It expanded on the Pocatello Cold Storage Building, which used to be the old American Brewing Company. They purchased brand new equipment. They brought in brewmaster Frank Steens, who brewed in San Francisco, California, and Covington, Kentucky, 2 places on the opposite spectrum.
Yes.
And they brewed I'm gonna get this name right. They brewed Idallo Bock beer.
Idallo?
Idallo. So they proposed a naming contest to the citizens of Pocatello to title their new beer. And this person called W.E. Newton won, and Idallo, I can't even say it, Idallo combines Idaho and Pocatello, and it really rolls off the frickin' tongue.
Yeah, I can tell you, yeah. Yeah, maybe not the best branding move, but I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Idallo. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And if you're sitting in bed tonight, Google Idallo beer because they have some very nice advertisements, bright blues, bright reds. They show the mountains in the background. I think you're really going to like it.
Oh, that's what you have to go for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in that's big sky.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have, that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
I can appreciate that.
So beer in Idaho had to be sold in containers with the Department of Law enforcement stamps on it, so they knew that it was legal product. And unfortunately, East Idaho, they had a beer that had a very frothy head, and people said that was because of their quality ingredients, which gave it its excellent taste. But even so, they closed in 1955. So I know. So let's
make it that long.
let's fast forward 41 years until.
Damn, we're really taking a jump. Okay.
Yep, until Pocatello got their next brewery, and it was called Portneuf Valley Brewing Company.
Okay, that's cute.
Mm-hmm. Owner was Miss Penny Pink. She was really a brewing pioneer, especially for women out west. The brewery was originally located in Dudley Sports Bar and Grill. It moved into the old East Idaho Brewing Company space in 1999, began full production in 2002, and opened to the public in 2005. So they began making it in a restaurant, serving it in that restaurant. Then 9 years later, they had their own space. Now, they are still open. You can still go and visit. If you go, I would suggest getting the Belligerent Ass Nut Brown Ale 3.60 on Untapped. Doesn't that sound good?
That does sound good. I like the name. Like I like too. Any kind of like irreverent name.
Yeah.
I love like Arrogant Bastard, like Belligerent Ass, like any of those I think are like Raging Bitch, like any ones that are like kind of a little on that.
It's just fun to order. I think people just want to order it. They don't want to drink it, but they just want to say it without getting punched.
They just want to say it and then like giggle.
Right.
Like they don't actually want it, but they're like, could I have the belligerent ass? Like, kind of that thing.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Not me. Never.
Now, Penny Pink retired after 23 years in 2019, and another woman became the operator of the brewery. But Portneuf Valley is really at a crossroads because think of the craft beer scene in 1996 when they first started. Think of it in 2005 when they opened their own facility, and now think of it in 2021. So a lot of the reviews that I read online just say that the brewery's a little bit dated.
I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we're in this age of this modern. Like, what do you mean you don't have a pinball machine and 4 food trucks? How dare you?
Exactly.
This can't possibly be worth its salt.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go. Do they stick with their roots, or do they maybe kind of follow the crowd a little bit?
Oh, I hope they stick with the roots. Tell me that.
I don't know. It's happening as we speak. So
it's still developing.
Still developing.
I want to make a point.
Go ahead.
I don't know if as a guest I'm allowed to interject like this, but I will.
I'll allow it.
Women passing down brewing to women.
Mm-hmm.
That's like kind of great because in that early craft beer scene, there was it was all like white men basically,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, there's really great articles.
Kind of cool.
Really great articles about Penny Pink and just kind of the legacy that she has made for herself. And yeah, it was a point of hers to find another woman to be in charge of the brewery. It's really awesome.
I love that ideal. Like, I am going to pass this
mm-hmm.
like feminist-led brewery to another woman. I kind of love that.
I know. So I wish them the best. We'll make some updates whenever we hear something. So the next brewery...
I'll be waiting with bated breath.
The next brewery didn't come around for another 22 years. When Jim Dandy Brewing Company opened in 2018, the owners are Haley Matkin and Davis Gore, which worked at a brewery called Everybody's Brewing in White Salem, Washington, before moving to Pocatello. It's located in the Iron Triangle District, a historic neighborhood of ethnic groups with a tough reputation. It's named after the Jim Dandy Club, which was known to be a brothel and a bar until the 1960s. But Jim Dandy, in the English language, in the English vernacular, means excellent of its kind. I don't know if you knew that.
I certainly did not.
So feel free to use it. The beer that I wanted to highlight is called Next to Nutty Peanut Butter Milk Stout 4.11, very high. And they actually use grain from the Great Western Malting Company, and one of their 8 locations is actually in Pocatello. So pretty cool, pretty local.
Buy local.
Did you just open a beer? Is that what I heard?
I did.
What are you drinking?
Yeah, I did. I felt like it was only right.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking, or what should I say I'm drinking?
Can I take a guess?
You could probably guess it. Go ahead.
I want to take a wild guess, going on off a limb here, and say Iron City Light.
It is absolutely Iron City Light, but I do have a Hitchhiker in the fridge. So I don't want to do the Hitchhiker too early because it is still light out. Like I want to,
Those are heavy.
I want to ease into it a little bit because I'll be in. You know me, I'll be in bed by 8:30.
Wake
up on Sunday at 10:30.
Speaking of Hitchhiker, I think we're going to highlight that brewery in one of the Instagram posts within the next week or so.
You should. Did you see they have that Pennsylvania? We're not talking about Pennsylvania. Feel free to cut this out. But did you see they have like the Pennsylvania March Madness brewery bracket?
Mm-hmm. I did see that. That's pretty cool.
Did you vote?
I voted in one of the regions. I still have to do the other regions yet. I was in Aldi. I was in the waiting in line, and that's when I did it. So then I forgot about it after I came home.
I finished it, and there's some very solid. There's a lot that I don't know on there, which I'm like excited. Like I feel like at some point we'll have to take like 10 days and just like do a like docu series of going around the state to all these cool. There's so many cool ones.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Idaho.
Next brewery that came around was Off the Rails Brewing Company, and it opened in January of 2020. Just by 4 local residents. It's located a block from the railroad, which still kind of cuts through the main downtown area of Pocatello. These guys, this is going to sound funny, I think, to people who aren't out in that region, but they want to make Pocatello something similar to a Bozeman, Montana, or a Missoula, Montana.
Like a resort town, or like a destination.
A destination that you can go to and maybe spend a weekend. You can go to a few breweries. You can enjoy the great outdoors. Just kind of give people more to do. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
And I think we're going to do either Bozeman or Missoula as our Montana episode, maybe next season. Now, let's see.
What season are we on now?
This is episode 7 of season 3. We have 2 more 2 more episodes of this season, then we'll take a little break until season 4.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
A wild success. Applause to you.
It's been fun. Thank you. Now, Off the Rails Brewing Company, they originally wanted to be called Pacific Union Brewery, so they could call themselves Pub. Pacific P, Union U, Brewery B. But then Pacific Union was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so, honey.
So they came up with Off the Rails, which is a fun name. And
I kind of like that name. Yeah, Off the Rails. That's kind of cute.
And I picked this beer just for you. It's called Hauptbahnhof Helles Lager, 4.5%. Doesn't really have a rating on Untappd yet because it's still new. But for those who don't speak German, what does Hauptbahnhof mean?
Bahnhof is like a train station, right?
Well, Hauptbahnhof, train station, yeah. We took German in high school.
What a strange choice. Looking back, we should have taken Latin.
Looking back, I know. Okay, so we have one more brewery to talk about, and that is Star Route Brewery. It was open. Star Route. It was open.
I like that name.
Me too. Opened in December of 2020, so Pocatello got 2 breweries last year. It's in the old town section of downtown. The owner, Chris White, used to live in Louisiana and Texas, and the name Star Route, it was what they used to call mail routes to sparsely populated areas, kind of in that Texas, Louisiana swampy area. And
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, they changed the name. They renamed them to highway contract routes, but That doesn't really sound like a good brewery name. I like Star Route.
Yeah, definitely not.
I
Okay,
like
Star Route. Star Route it is.
Now, we still don't know too much about this brewery because it's only been open for a few months, but they do make a Texas Pecan Coffee Amber, which sounds pretty good, and it's got a 3.62 on the Untapped.
You're really on the dark beer today.
And sometimes it happens.
I guess not the Helles, but
yeah,
the porter. What was it? Peanut porter and the
you know what they say.
Ale?
You know what they say. Once you go dark beer, you never go back.
Oh, geez, cut that out. Oh my god.
And you know what? That's all we have for this episode. Probably a good place to stop. What do you think?
Probably a decent. Yeah, I know you are too, and I'm kind of the same way. I like, okay, yes, you can go to New York, and it's so fun. Yes, you can go to San Antonio, it's great. Yes, you can go to Seattle, you'll have a wonderful time. But when you can really find those, like, little pocket...
Absolutely.
These are Pocatello. Little pocket towns that, like, are just, like, cute. It's like you're almost seeing something that, like, you can't talk to somebody else really about, which is like kind of cool. You're like, it's almost like a personal experience. Like everyone has a New York story. Who has a Pocatello story?
Exactly. And that's why I like to choose these smaller towns, because you don't really see too much about them. So, it's not like you're visiting them because everyone else is doing it. You're visiting them because you actually want to.
Yeah, I want to go there.
I want to go. I want to go to all these places that we've covered.
Now, what I have heard is that from my friend in Boise.
Okay.
Is that it can be difficult if you're not from the region to like fly there. Like you'd have to fly to, like Seattle or Denver and then get like a little plane to like Boise. And then you'd probably have to like drive, or I guess you could take a train maybe. Like the railroad is such a thing, but I don't know if it's commercial or because I was like, I want to come visit you, and she was like, well, hey, good luck.
Do you have 3 weeks?
Godspeed. I hope you have 17 days. You're going to need that much at least.
Well, I think the best way is a road trip. What do you think?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Pennsylvania to Idaho. Here we come.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine? Could you imagine the stops that we would see?
Well, on the way, maybe we could stop at some other brewery towns. This is a good idea. We could do it, and we can do some live streaming maybe on the Instagram. I'm down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you know how to do that, then yeah.
Oh, I'll ask a younger kid. They can show me.
We could do TikTok.
Well, thank you, Matt, for coming back on. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's always an experience.
Yes.
For sure.
Well, buddy, I hope we have you back soon.
I hope so as well. I hope in season 4 I have one more go in me.
Another cameo.
It'll be like Grey's Anatomy, like season 26. I'm gonna be there again. I'm just gonna keep coming back to life, one way or the other. Can't get rid of me yet.
You are always welcome on.
Well, thank you for having me. This was very enlightening. I feel intrigued.
Good. I hope when people listen to it, they do leave with a sense of wonder.
Yeah, that's a beautiful sentiment. Leave with a sense of wonder. I bet you is that Idaho's like state motto? Like a sense of wonder. Like, can't you see like, come to Idaho, a state of wonder?
I could see, once we pass the border, there's a big potato, and that's just plastered right on it.
And I love those potatoes any way I can get them.
And that was another episode of Brewery Towns.